What is up, guys and girls? Welcome to episode number 106 of the Nonsense Review. I am your host, as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello, everybody.
And today is episode 2 of our so-called Britcom month. We're going to be doing some Red Dwarf, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Before we dive into our review, those of you familiar with the podcast know we like to talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe. So to that end, Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
Well, right now, it's snowy as fuck, so we're all snowed in, and the good old thing of when it snows, everybody drives like maniacs. They stand on the seat and drive with their arses, and they raid the shops for everything that they are worth and more. So we are currently out of bread.
It's weird, actually, because I think that's the difference between the south and the north to a certain degree, because we don't get snow down south very often. When snow comes, even a little bit of snow, the county tends to stop. But
yes,
with that in mind, our drivers are usually the opposite in that there's a little bit of snow. Let's all be slow and careful, you know?
Yeah.
Let's take it nice and easy today, guys.
I mean, they take it slow, but they take stupid risks. There's a big gap that someone has left because they're going 10 miles an hour down a 30 mile an hour road because the road is like nearly 45 degrees. And someone goes, sweet, I can get out into that. I could get out into that normally. Let's go. And then they go into a wall.
Well, that's another point as well, is where Rick lives, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of places are just straight up hilly.
Yes, I live on one side of a valley. I can see the other side of the valley. I probably couldn't walk to it without getting puffed.
There we go.
Other than that, it is, pulling the curtain back, it is March the 10th. You know what that means? It's Mario Day.
Yeah, I got an email from Nintendo saying, here's our Nintendo Direct revealing the last trailer for the Mario movie. P.S. We're not revealing games today, fuck off.
In true Nintendo fashion, hell has frozen over. There are discounts on Mario games. That's something Nintendo never does because they think Mario is the perpetual golden goose that lays perpetual golden eggs, and if something was worth $2,000 in the 80s, it's worth $2,000 today.
Now, Rick, don't undersell Nintendo. They don't just think this about Mario, they think this about a lot of their IPs.
But oh well, there are another couple of things. There's now going to be a Persona-type game where you play as the Golden Girls, and it's called Golden Girls Take Manhattan DX.
So when you say Persona style, you mean dungeon crawler, or do you mean dating sim?
I don't know. So it says it's meant to be like a fast-paced, turn-based JRPG, so it will have like the combat style to it as well. So it does look like it does have like both sides of the coin. It's going to be free, so it's going to be called The Golden Girls Take Manhattan DX, releasing for Mac and PC this year.
I'd certainly play it. I mean, I've got nothing against the Golden Girls, but
yeah.
Boy, is that a sentence I didn't expect to hear today. There's a Persona-esque game based on the Golden Girls. You fucking what? Is this Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam all over again? Sorry, Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
The other one I was going to say is the Nintendo eShop for the 3DS and also the Wii U, but the 3DS is the one that people actually care about, is growing ever closer to shutting down. So if there's anything on there that you haven't downloaded yet, go do it as soon as you can. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time.
I'm not a fan of Nintendo's intentions as far as this is concerned, but it's almost exclusively a Nintendo problem, because as we mentioned with them thinking their IPs are worth the same amount no matter how many years ago it came out, they refuse to adapt to the digital age to a certain degree.
They're absolute shits for preservation. The one other thing is Wolong is now available, and on PC it's a dumpster fire, and on PlayStation it's apparently incredible.
Apparently the very first patch they put out has fixed most of the issues for the PC. I don't know. Even if I get this game, which I probably am going to get it, I wouldn't be getting it for the PC, so...
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to throw over to you because you told me before we started recording that you have quite a bit more news. So, what have you seen out in the wide world, and what has happened to you this week?
Well, first things first, on a personal level, Mando Season 3, Episode 2. I don't know if you've watched this one, Rick.
I haven't. I watched Episode 1, but not Episode 2 yet.
I will sum it up with one sentence, which isn't very spoilery. Oh, they're doing that in Episode 2? What?
Oh, okay. That sounds ominous, but also Episode 1 may be set up for it.
Well, I'll tell you this, Rick. You'll know exactly what they're doing in Episode 2 because it's the title of Episode 2.
Okay.
So, while it's a spoiler, if you look at an episode list, you'll be like, oh, that's what they're doing in episode 2.
I can come up with a few things that they might have been doing, but like specifically the one that I'm thinking of mostly is, yes, the thing that they were setting up to do mostly during the last episode, which made the last episode kind of pointless because it was just, oh yeah, remember Mando? Mando was cool.
And with that being said, Rick, we played Trivial Pursuit this week.
We fucking did.
As I told you and our other friend who was playing at the time, boy, does that game bring out the worst in me.
A little bit, but... I'll tell you what was amusing, actually, was we got one question where half of the answers have now changed.
I don't remember what question you're on about.
It was the one where, like, people having a World Cup medal.
Oh, yeah. Our friend's first answer was Lionel Messi. And I went, oh, that's unfortunate, because this game is like 5 years old. And it was a case of Lionel Messi is a good answer to pick when it comes to a football question, because he's done pretty much everything. However, until the most recent World Cup, which was last year, he had not won a World Cup medal.
Yeah, he's now won a World Cup. He now has a medal.
Speaking of video games, I've bought a game off Steam, which, oh boy, I can see this eating a lot of my time.
Uh-huh.
Coin Pusher Casino. The reason why I say this is, hey Rick, you've been to a fucking holiday park. You've seen these machines in holiday parks.
Oh, 2p machines.
Yeah, it's that, but it's a game. It says very clearly in the description, pay for this game once for a $5. You will not be asked to spend real money on this game. Don't worry. So that's what made me buy it. And oh boy, it's a real nothing game because it's a coin pusher where you don't get anything back because it's virtual. But boy, does it stimulate my lizard brain.
Yeah.
Now the real life versions of these games they're fine because we used to have penny ones in the place I went to, and you could give a kid £1, and hey, guess what? 100 goes on that machine. That's going to keep him occupied for about half an hour.
Yeah, and they might come back with 6p, but let's be honest, they're just going to put anything they win back into the machine, aren't they?
Yeah. I remember the last time I went to Butlins, me and my two mates spent a lot of time on the coin pushers, and one of the ways they try and get adults into the game is they've got like a £5 note sitting on top of the coins, but it's got but it's got a keychain on it, so it's not moving. But people don't think like that. They look at it and they go, there's a £5 there, it's really near the edge. And they spend 10 quid in 1p's before giving up.
Yeah.
Are you ready for some world news, Rick?
Yeah, let's shall.
Alright, music first.
Okay.
Have you heard of a band called Nano War of Steel?
I believe so.
Yes, they do some very funny, amusing songs. And this time is no different because they've teamed up with Joakim Broden of Sabaton fame to create a song called Pasadena 1994, which is a song all about the 1994 World Cup final. Now, this group is really good at adopting the sound of someone else. Like, I believe the first song of theirs I shared with you was Valhallelujah.
Okay.
Where they took the piss out of... But it was basically like a speed run of how many people can we offend between Christians and pagans and people from Sweden and this and that. But yeah, this one, it sounds like a Sabaton song from the get-go. I don't know how they didn't piss themselves laughing filming the fucking music video, because they've got they're playing football while wearing fucking army fatigues and getting blown up by minefields while dribbling the ball.
Oh boy.
It's I'll share the video with you later. It's a great fucking music video, but it's also just a slapping song. It's great because it's just a Sabaton song. Yeah, I recommend it. It's great. It's great crack. Nano War of Steel is a great band anyway. Check out the song Uranus and Valhallelujah while you're at it. Uranus's music video is great because they've got a bunch of girls dancing in it and they're all dressed up like Saint Uranus. Which is a detail no one's going to give a fuck about, but it's still funny to me.
Yep.
Rick, Haluva Boss.
Oh.
Episode 3 is out this weekend, so it'll be out after this podcast, but by the time this podcast is out, it will be out. Go watch it.
Oh, yes. That's now on my list of things to do.
I'm going to get this out of the way because I think we should just bring it up. Rick, we're British.
Yeah, we are.
Every time I bring up that fact, it's usually to bitch about the government. We're not a political podcast, but we are aware of what Rishi Sunak's new plan is when it comes to certain immigrants, and shit's fucked.
Yeah. It seems to be he's stopping just short of, if we see a small boat coming by, we're going to burst it.
Boy, Rick, are we the baddies? It feels like it.
Like, as a country, we're pigeonholed into being the baddies, yes. Like, any developed nation with people with hearts are looking at us and going, oh, this is meant to be a developed nation. These are meant to be human beings. Oh, yeah, I don't want to I don't want to go to Britain anymore.
I think the most horrendous point made in these new, this new announcement, this new bill, I'm using quotation marks, is the fact that, hey, here's one of the points we're making. If you come over here in one of those little boats quotes, "We will not protect you from human slavery." Why have you written that in?
Yeah, he said the quiet part loud.
Like, that's fucked up. And one of the silver linings here, and boy is it hard to fucking find one, Gary Lineker, who is a sports pundit nowadays, that's his main job, he used to be a footballer, yes. He went to Twitter and said, "This is fucked up, this is like one step away from Nazism." And
oh yeah, I saw a bunch of paparazzi like swarming him outside of his house, all say, "Do you regret what you said on Twitter? Do you take it back? Do you think what you said on Twitter was going too far?" And he was just smiling and just going, "Nope. What I said was true." And then he gets in his car and fucks off.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of other BBC pundits who are saying that Mr. Lineker should know his place. And it's like, he covers sport, mate. He can say what he wants politically. He's not a political pundit. And even if he was a political pundit, you're allowed to say that shit looks like Nazi shit if it looks like Nazi shit.
Yeah.
In fact, it is your civil duty to point out when Nazi shit is happening.
It reminds me of someone who had the Twitter account of the dog who barks when he sees something that sounds like Nazism. And all of its tweets are just replies to things going bark, 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 bark.
Oh, fuck, yeah, that's a great fucking gimmick. But yeah, the reason why I say I'm giving a bit more props to Gary Lineker is because he is former sportman. You got average Joes looking at him going, well, he's a sportman, maybe he knows what he's talking about. Which shouldn't be the case, but it must be pointed out, the average person is stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, man, seeing as we're on it, like, we won't dwell on it much longer, but fuck, Rishi Sunak in Parliament said, and I had to hold back my laughter, at Keir Starmer, he said, "You're just another softy lefty," and I cackled, going, "Oh, I wish he was, Rishi, I wish he was."
Yeah. It's like, what do they say about Biden? I wish he was the monster you think he is.
I wish he was the leftist you so claim him to be. He is not, sir. If anything, he is slightly right of the middle, which is the best we can do, which is bollocks. Anyway, let's move on. Rick, it was International Women's Day not too long ago.
Yeah, apparently there were a lot of them. There was meant to be one, and we were meant to be recording on one of them last week. And since then, there have been more, including one where if you're on Imagur, they pay for it to be video game day instead.
That's weird, but anyway.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Well, it's International Women's Month, but apparently it was International Women's Day on Wednesday. So I got an email from Total Cards saying, "Happy International Women's Day. Here's our top 5 women from..." I don't really know what the theme is here. It says pop culture franchises, but whatever. Rick, I'm going to give you their list and let's see what you think.
Okay.
Ellie Williams from The Last of Us. I suspect this was put here because it's currently popular.
Yeah, because The Last of Us is popular thanks to Pedro Pascal's, by all accounts, really good Last of Us TV show.
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching that, but that's because I don't care about The Last of Us. That being said, the actress they got to play Ellie is apparently very good as well, which is great because they're the two main characters.
Oh, yeah.
Next up on the list is Liliana Vess from Magic the Gathering. This was put on here because they needed to sell cards, Rick.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
I don't think there's much lore behind this character.
Apparently there's lots, but it's a kudzu vine of intersecting lore written by different people who have no handle on the rest of the lore. They tried to make a Magic the Gathering, not cinematic, but like cardomatic universe. By having a core bunch of main characters in the different colours who were planeswalkers, and they would jump from world to world, and they would be the ones that experience the storyline for that world this time.
Well, good news, because if you didn't know that this character was here to sell cards, they bring up the fact that they appear in a total of 13 cards, so buy some.
Yes. Yeah, I think most of the time she's a planeswalker, but I think she might actually appear before she becomes one in one or two of the cards, which is kind of neat sometimes. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, they bring up that she is one of the most powerful planeswalkers in the world of Magic the Gathering, which is kind of a moot point, because they're all fucking bullshit strong depending on what storyline they're involved in.
Oh, it's like Playground, isn't it?
Anyway, in case you had any doubt that they were trying to sell cards with this top 5 list, next up is Cynthia. I will give Cynthia a bit of a pass because she is probably one of the best Pokemon trainers ever. As in, I like her design, I like her team, she's cool.
I'm so glad you said Pokemon because I immediately went to Angelica's doll.
Why would you go there first?
I don't know. My brain wasn't firing. Yeah, I went to Angelica's doll, which has had most of its hair ripped out, and she has 5 strands.
And has been covered in shit from the sewer at least twice.
Yes.
We don't talk about that, but it happened.
and not the world's very first female Pokemon League champion, and possibly to date the strongest champion that you're meant to face on level. Cynthia is very definitely a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, they make a point to say that, like, barring Red from Pokemon 2, by that I mean Gold and Silver, sorry, she's probably the best, the strongest Pokemon trainer you have to fight in-game.
Yeah, she's definitely got the most well-rounded team.
Next up is Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. I never watched this series, probably never gonna. I'm just going to assume that they are important.
Yeah, I've heard the name, never watched the show.
Fair enough. Last but not least is a character near and dear to every pubescent boy's heart growing up in the 2000s, My Valentine.
Yes, fair enough. I was assuming you were going to say Lara Croft, but yeah, My Valentine can also sell cards.
Oh, yeah, that's just it. Like, more than half, like, Ellie's on there because Last of Us is currently popular. I mean, Ellie might be a well-rounded character. I don't know. I didn't play The Last of Us, and I'm not watching the show. But she's definitely there because she's popular at the very least. The three of them have to sell cards. One of them is, we got to appeal to anime nerds, but we can't go for Bulma because she's too obvious.
Yeah.
Alright, Rick, we're down to 3 news stories. Do you want the Elon one, the wrestling one, or the one about dolphins?
Let's go with dolphins first, then roast Elon, and then finish with wrestling.
Alright, a bloke dubbed as Dolphin Dave has been arrested.
Dolphin Dave.
65-year-old David, I can't pronounce his surname, but it's spelled Jimenez.
Oh, okay.
Has been arrested because he keeps snorkeling close to a humpback whale in Hawaii. So it's one of these weird things where he's technically done nothing wrong, but I suspect that what they want to do is they want to bring a court case against him and set some legal precedent so a bunch of people don't start harassing whales.
Yeah, I can see that.
The guy has straight up said that he's never going to stop because it's so sick swimming with whales and dolphins. Fucking fair dude. He's 65. I don't think he's harming no one. But I can understand why conservationists are like, ooh, we should probably discourage people from doing this. Elon.
Yeah.
A cavalcade of fuck-ups is how I described Elon Musk's running of Twitter. But this one's pretty bad. A guy called, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his surname, Haili, Haili, tweeted Elon Musk because he had lost access to platforms he was using for Twitter. He didn't know whether he'd been fired or not, because a lot of people are in that boat because Elon seems to just fire people at will because, I've got a big dick, fuck you. Elon Musk didn't know who he was, so he asked what he was working on. When he got a reply with all the high-level projects that this dude was involved in, Elon Musk basically said pics or it didn't happen, which is not how you run a business, but whatever. Musk then went to Twitter and claimed with absolutely no basis at all that the dude did no work and was using a disability excuse to basically not do work. The guy then described over several tweets that his disability is muscular dystrophy and keeps getting worse because it's muscular dystrophy, and that's how that works.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you know who this guy is. His real name is Harold Forleifson. I'm sorry if I've butchered that. And he's actually a well-respected digital entrepreneur because he made his riches from scratch and not from inheriting daddy's emerald mine money.
Oh, totally. I saw a meme on this. I'll let you tell the story and then I'll tell you what the meme says.
Fair enough. This guy is actually quite famous because there was a news circulating a while ago when he joined Twitter in that he didn't sell his company to Twitter. He gave the company to Twitter in exchange for a salaried position at Twitter with the condition that if he was ever fired from Twitter, he was to be given $100 million, which is the price of his company. So, as you can see, there's a reason why he wants to know if he was fired or not. Now, the reason why he took a salaried position instead of the cash lump sum is because good guy tech bro was like, hey, I should pay the most tax because I'm a millionaire. And also, because of his disability, he got welfare payments from the government for quite some time because he was disabled and couldn't work. And seeing as he made such not liberal use, that's the wrong word, because he made use of the government system to aid him, he was like, it's only fair that I pay back when I'm able to. So yeah, he's taken a salary position, his money gets taxed, unlike Elon, but we'll get to that later, I'm sure. Basically cut to Elon Musk scrambling to apologise to this guy in the most limp-dicked way possible that sounded disingenuous as fuck, because it was, because he didn't want to have to fork over another $100 million because, hey, guess what? Elon Musk can't make Twitter profitable because no one can.
No.
But yes, what was this hilarious meme you wanted to share?
Yeah, the meme was him saying, I made Figma, and Elon saying, you're fired, and him saying, so you owe me $100 million, and Elon saying, my lawyers have told me that you're not fired, and that I am very sorry.
Elon's a twat. Elon doesn't know what he's doing. I was actually informed that at his former companies, there was a team of staff whose sole job was to manage Elon so he didn't fuck things up.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is a staff that he does not have while running Twitter. As far as I'm aware, Twitter is a company run by Elon Musk right now, and you're seeing why Elon Musk does not manage companies.
Yeah.
Rick, this is not a wrestling podcast.
Yep, good way to end it.
We've got some AEW news today.
Okay.
All Elite Wrestling's champion, MJF, he's in a bit of trouble, Rick.
Oh.
Not real trouble, but like, oh, that was fucked up, you shouldn't have done that, bro. He threw water over a kid during a wrestling show, but it might not have been water, it might have been tequila. The reports are unclear, but either way, this kid was not a plant, he was just a wrestling fan. He got water thrown over him because MJF is a heel. He is meant to be a heel, he is a bad guy. However, this kid burst into tears because someone chucked water over him, and he was escorted backstage at the end of the show and got to meet a bunch of wrestlers and got tickets to the next AEW show because they were like, oh fuck, this is not a good look.
Yeah, good guy publicity team.
I'm on the fence when it comes to crowd interaction at wrestling shows because crowd interaction is great, but I think it should end at verbal.
True. Like, getting spit at is not fun. I'm in the kid's shoes of when I was young, I probably would have also burst into tears at something that I wasn't expecting.
Well, yeah, it's one of those where, hey, guess what? You're going to be lippy at a wrestling show. Everyone is. Some people use vile language, I'll admit, and those people are scumbags. But it was a kid who's probably going, boo, MGF, boo, because kids aren't that inventive. And MGF took a cup of something and spilled it over the kid. Again, reports are mixed. Some people say it was tequila, some people say it was water. If it was water, it's certainly a lot more harmless. But if it was tequila, that's not a good look.
Yeah, that's something that's... It's not sticky, but the smell gets everywhere, and that's basically going to be tequila for life for that kid.
It's not great. I don't think you should be physical with the fans. That's just me. I could be wrong. If it was an adult, I wouldn't give a fuck. An adult can fucking shrug off a bit of water on them, and they'd probably be like, oh, that was funny. But kid, it's a kid, you know? I don't know what the dude was thinking. Like, the only thing I can think of is maybe there was meant to be a spot where he poured water over a kid and the kid was a plant and he just fucked up and threw it over the wrong kid. Any number of things could have led to this. It also could have been the guy was in the moment and just went, oh, fuck it, this is a heel thing to do.
Yeah, when you're playing a role, sometimes the role takes over.
Yeah. Like, I remember there was an incident, God, it must have been about 8 years ago, where Kevin Owens, who was Kevin Steen at the time, went to a kid. A kid had his hand out to high five Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen was a heel, and Kevin Steen stopped, looked at the kid, looked at his shirt. It was not a Kevin Steen shirt, so he said, no, I'm not high-fiving you, kid. Get a Kevin Steen shirt. Then stopped and goes, actually, don't get a Kevin Steen shirt. I don't want you wearing my shirts. And then walked off. And then the kid burst into tears, which I think is fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious.
No physicality has happened there. The kid is probably going to be upset for a bit, but at the same time, Kevin Steen / Kevin Owen was a bad guy. He's not supposed to be liked by children.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a way you can be a heel to children without fucking assaulting them. Today we're watching Red Dwarf. We're going to watch Season 6, Episode 2, Legion. Why are we watching this episode? There's loads of good Red Dwarf episodes. We didn't want to do Season 1 because we haven't even got the core cast in Season 1. Season 2, we've got the core cast, but, you know, it's a real hit and miss.
Yeah, we wanted something where Crichton was established. He didn't show up till Season 2, and, like you say, a lot of the core cast are not properly established until later seasons anyway. I've seen parts of Season 1, but that's pretty much it. Other than that, I've seen, like, individual episodes here and there. So I'm more or less blind on this.
Interesting. Right, so the best episode of all time for Red Dwarf is, in my opinion, the one where they go to the wax world. I'm definitely going to recommend people watch that one. However, if you don't understand the characters beforehand, it might not be as good. So, the reason why I've picked this one is it's both a funny episode, and because of the nature of the episode, you get a feel for everyone's character. So you'll know exactly what I mean when we actually get to the episode proper. So I'm going to throw over to Rick.
Yeah, it's Red Dwarf, Season 6, Episode 2, 3, 2, 1, and go.
So, Rick, based on the name alone, what do you think the gimmick is going to be of this episode?
They're going to come across some intergalactic entity that wants them to assimilate. Basically, the Red Dwarf equivalent of the Borg.
You're off the mark, but some of the things you say aren't that far away.
Sure.
But yeah. So yeah, later seasons they really got into this this thing where they would do some real wacky hijinks because they'd visit other planets, they'd encounter aliens. They had the cyber episode where they all became cowboys for an episode, and that was great. And get ready for one of the most disgusting jokes in the series. So the basic gist for this season is they're in Starbug, the little rover ship, and they're chasing Red Dwarf because Red Dwarf has gone off on its own with a bunch of nanobots.
Sure.
Oh, fuck me, licorice all sorts, Rick. Well, is that not the most disappointing present?
For most people, yes. For me, I think I might be potentially Space Weevil.
Oh, this is one of your big fucking icks, Rick.
Yeah. Eating bugs, yeah.
To a certain degree, but look at it.
Yeah, it looks like a turd on a plate.
I don't think we've seen this. We'll see it in this episode. But one of my favourite jokes is they're on Blue Alert, and Rimmer says, "I think we should up it to Red Alert." And cut to Crichton just going, "Sir, are you absolutely sure? That will require changing the bulb." Oh, in case you couldn't tell, Lister is the personification of male grossness.
Yep.
Bastard. You know what? I think this is one of those weird, rare scenarios where all four members of the main cast are still alive.
Yeah! This tends not to be the case with a lot of sitcoms that we watch. And a complete opposite of Last of the Summer Wine.
Yeah. Probably going to be the opposite of what our final thing is as well.
Yeah.
Best joke of the episode, possibly right here.
Yeah, it's the Ron Swanson joke of, "Excuse me, there has been a mistake. You have brought me the food that my food eats."
Oh. Yeah. Despite being set in space, it still has the dumbest, most regular jokes you could possibly imagine at times.
Yeah, like the other half of the joke is, where the hell has he got a magazine from?
Oh, when they're on Red Dwarf, they used to get sent supplies every... When they got supplies, it was like 1,000 years worth of supplies.
Yeah. Butterpat head.
So because they're not on Red Dwarf proper, they're stuck to Starbug, Holly doesn't appear in this season.
Okay.
Oh, we are going to get the joke. Fuck! I'm sorry, I spoilt it. This is a running gag. I love the gag as well of there's not even a siren to go with it.
Yeah, it just flashes. And it just continues flashing in the background.
Albania is not very technologically advanced.
Yeah, there we are, changing the bulb.
Again, I'm very sorry for spoiling that joke, but it's a damn good one.
It is. It is.
Also, I'm looking at the alert sign, and I imagine it's a lot of hassle changing that bulb.
Yeah, you'd have to, like, slide out the whole front fascia.
Yeah. Something that's always very like one of Rimmer's core characteristics, he is fundamentally the cowardest of cowards.
Yes.
But it's very baffling that even when he's already dead and a hologram and no further harm can come to him, he is still such a fucking coward.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's like thousands of years dead, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh. What a gross fucking image.
Yeah. Yeah, if he does believe in reincarnation and if it is real, then he's probably reincarnated about 15 times since now.
It's one of those where I'm not quite sure how this technology would work, you know? It's sci-fi, so you don't have to go into depths with it. It's also a comedy sci-fi, so really no one gives a shit. But it's like...
Yeah, it's all rule of funny, yeah.
But it's like, you get all of your memories, and you're essentially you, but you're just a hologram, and it's like, what kind of you think existential dread is bad when you're alive? How bad would it be in that scenario?
Yeah, you're brought back to life. You know that you're dead, and yet you still feel everything as if you were alive, yeah. What messes with me is that, wasn't he a hologram that was projected by a Red Dwarf?
He's got a holocrystal now.
Okay.
It's a little crystal that buzzes around and generates light. In fact, I believe they're going to show such a fact momentarily. I love how the audience laughs at the name Quail. I think it's one of my favourite tropes in any sci-fi thing is, we found something that's abandoned. Cool, let's fucking nick shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the intergalactic bro code of, if shit's dead, rob their graves.
So, can you see why I said you weren't too far off the mark with your guess, but the motivation's a bit different?
Okay. I think I know that voice.
You might do. There you go, you're going to see how it works just now. See, that's what projects the hologram light.
It's got a costume change.
Yeah. So, Rick, you've known this character for a few seconds now. What do you think the gimmick's going to be?
He's got all the memories of every character that he's encountered.
Ooh, not a bad guess. Oh, look how fucking scabby his outfit is. Oh. I know it's future sci-fi shit, but no anesthetic or nothing. Ugh.
Yeah. What's he going to do, eat it now?
Probably not. I don't think he's that gross. Dude, I've seen the cat without any of his fucking... without being made up to look like the cat, and he looks like a completely different person.
Does he?
Yeah.
Because this cat, he looks real dapper.
Well, he's bald now as well.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a monster stunt man. Oh, that's ominous. You could be tortured damn near to death, but you can never die.
It's one of those, isn't it? It's where, But at the same time, he is just a fucking hologram. They can just turn him off.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I do sometimes see people dressing up like Lister still at Comic-Cons.
Yeah. Like, I remember, like, at Cubs, one of the things that people were doing, one of the leaders brought this big old sheet of shiny paper, and people were just making H's for the faces.
Oh, fair enough. That was actually pretty good fucking sucking up by Rimmer.
Yeah.
I love this joke so much.
Oh, the light switch.
It's that old joke of abstract art, man.
Yeah, like in a modern / abstract art situation, the actual exhibits are indistinguishable from a pencil that someone dropped.
It's one of those where, like, all art has merit. Just, it doesn't have merit to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, things do have a point when it's abstract, but, like, when people do stuff like, here's a urinal, which hasn't been plumbed in, that's my art installation, and I'm like, it goes over my... I don't see the point. I'm sure someone who's all artsy-fartsy and gives a fuck can see the point, but I'm like, I don't care. There's one piece of art, very famously, that's one big square, and it's painted black. But it's not actually painted black, it's painted in loads of little squares of shades of other colours that are so dark they might as well be black. And,
Yeah.
like, I'm sure someone who cares could get hours of enjoyment from that painting. But I don't care.
Yeah. Most of the time you're going to be zoomed out far enough that it is just fucking black.
Sorry, I'm just watching the visual gag right now.
Yeah. Using the antimatter chopsticks.
And the hairy blob clearly just on a string.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I quite like seascapes when it comes to art. Is it simple? Yeah. But I like them. I think they're cool to look at. How much fun do you think the member of staff had just lobbing that at that dude? Like, I get they're kind of taking the piss out of chopsticks a little bit, but it's like, I feel like any gear where it's constantly rotating and using gravitational pulls, you need more of a tutorial than none. Like, chopsticks you can kind of ballpark, and yeah, you might look like a savage when using them, but you can still use them even if you don't know how to use chopsticks traditionally. How terrifying would that be?
Oh yeah. Someone taking your food from your mouth telekinetically.
Most of them have wanted to kill them.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
What an awful name.
Pelted again.
This is, we're going to see an interesting philosophical dilemma in a minute.
What, giving it one of those of, I can give you everything you want, and but you will be a prisoner. Sugar puff sandwiches.
Oh. What? Why'd you put shoes in the fridge?
Spare piece.
So you see the dilemma where everything you could possibly want is provided for you, but you can't leave. It's like,
yeah, you can't leave, and you haven't earned it, so there's no you're not satisfying your improvement drive. Nocturnal boxing gloves.
He used to wear boxing gloves to sleep as a kid to stop himself from scratching himself and or masturbating. It's unclear. Which, by the way, if your issue is scratching yourself at night, regular gloves will do, so I think it might be the latter.
Yeah. Also, if you have an issue with scratching yourself at night, just fucking wash yourself.
No, some people have skin conditions, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a rash...
Like, even I do.
Like, if you have a rash and you're, like, I had this issue when I had my tattoo done, in that you're not supposed to scratch your tattoo while it's healing, which is very easy to do when you're awake, but when you're asleep, if your body itches, your body will just scratch without thinking.
Yes.
I love this fucking joke. Have you gotten his gimmick yet?
Yeah, so he's a combination of all of them.
That's a pretty fucking good effect for the time.
Yeah.
Hence Legion.
Mm.
It's such a simple joke, but I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
What a hellish existence this would be.
Yeah. But it does seem like he's
Like, that's fucked.
it does seem like he's yeah, it seems like he only exists while other people are here.
He does. That's entirely the point. The reason why he's got all these arts that mimic other people's styles is because they're his style, because he used to be them.
Sure.
Oh, there you go. How fucking deep is this for a comedy show, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. The cat's gimmick is great because he's a cat. He is just a cat, but
Yes.
he's a person.
He likes fish.
He really does. Oh, the coward. Oh, the coward doesn't even want to get smacked.
No. And he can't even take his hologram drive out because he's now hard light.
Yeah. What a terrifying sentence, eh? uh. It's such a ridiculous scene.
It's the kind of thing that I could see kids imitating at school because, bashing your head against things is the kind of thing that the kids do at the best of times.
Yeah. I love how Legion's just watching the whole time as well.
Yeah.
So other people can't take it out of him because he's real, but he can. So yeah, if there's only one person, then he takes on one form.
Mm-hmm.
It's super bad for you to be unconscious for more than like half a minute.
Yes.
So yeah, upgrade get.
Yeah.
Yeah, this group's inept.
Yeah, they are.
I know we're being quiet, but like, it's going to end on a final gag. We know it is.
Yeah. Police alert. The drive gets to Red Dwarf.
Apparently so.
The rest of the ship does not.
Now, bear in mind, 2 out of the 4 people here have to breathe and have to be pressurised. So they should be dead.
Yes.
Fucking, did you see the role that fucking Danny Don Jules had to fucking do for that scene? Nigel Williams, does that name ring a bell?
No, it doesn't. So, I also looked that up, and I don't think I've seen any of these things.
That's fair. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how, much like with Last of Summer Wine, this show had 5 people in it?
Yes. Like, it's very much a zoomed-in show. And yeah, they've got a set, they do fun things with it, but it's basically the same kind of quality of set you get on something like the Crystal Maze. It's just there to set the scene rather than to be, you know, a cavalcade of special effects and everything.
More like practical effects back in the day as well.
Oh yeah. I'm keeping practical effects on the level of special effects because at the time that's what special effects were.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But usually a lot of people, especially newer, younger listeners, might associate special effects exclusively with computer-generated stuff.
Yeah. I think because of the Phantom Menace, Jar Jar is key. We tend to conflate a lot of special effects with CGI only these days.
Yeah. Man, I still remember seeing the behind-the-scenes shots of Jar Jar with the fully made-up Jar Jar head above the actor's head, and it's like they probably could have made Jar Jar with practical effects if they really wanted to.
Yeah, totally. Like, they've made good practical effects in the past. Like Chewbacca, for instance. Like, he's just a dude in a fursuit.
A very tall dude.
Yeah, a tall dude in a fursuit, cosplaying as himself.
I did appreciate that that dude had a chair on set for the new Star Wars movies while he was still alive.
Ah, yes.
Like, he didn't need to be there, but Disney/Lucas was just like, he was part of the original trilogy, motherfucker gets a paycheck.
Yeah, paying a due respect. Especially with him being there and being able to pass the torch properly. It makes the fans more comfortable accepting a new person if the old one, like, willingly gave up the role, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the end of Red Dwarf episode 2, season 6. I said that the wrong way round, but fuck it. What did you think, Rick?
It was a lot of fun. It built on things that I already knew about characters that I already knew, plus Crichton, who I think is possibly the best character on the show.
I don't know. I feel it's weird. I feel like if you take away any one of the main 4, the show is weaker for it.
Sure. Obviously, they get by without Holly for this bit of the show, but that's only because Holly is still, you know, the AI on Red Dwarf.
Holly's also in a weird place where they swap actor seemingly arbitrarily.
Yeah. Like, wasn't it? Didn't it go back to the bloke in the reboot?
Yeah. It was the middle-aged dude. Then from season 2 onwards, it was the woman, and then it went back to the middle-aged dude when they got back to Red Dwarf, because the gimmick is the nanomachines rebuilt Red Dwarf to how it was before the accident, which somehow brought all the crew back to life, including the original Holly.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's one of the episodes I've seen, is like when the crew's all alive, because it's the luck virus, isn't it?
Maybe.
They use the luck virus to just bullshit their way through whatever they need to do on Red Dwarf that day. And there's a luck antidote that is, if you're getting too lucky, use the luck antidote, because if you get too lucky all the time, time you'll explode or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, basically, you know that liquid luck plot that fucking J.K. Rowling used in Harry Potter? She stole it from Red Dwarf.
It's like the Red Dwarf equivalent. Simpsons did it.
Oh. Man, that's the point, isn't it? We're watching sitcoms pretty much exclusively that predated Simpsons, so we can't use the Simpsons did it gag.
I think this one was like mid-90s though, wasn't it?
No, bro, this was 80s.
Really?
Actually, well, I think it started in the 80s. This series might not be. Hey, let's find out. First episode was in 1988.
Okay.
So season 6 might have been mid-90s.
Sure.
We're on 12 seasons now, because I forgot that, yeah, you're right, they did the reboot, and there was a most recent series on fucking Dave.
I mean, Dave is a great place for it, because, Dave is all about reruns, and what's more rerun than a new season of something that came to an end a long-ass fucking time ago. So, what did you think?
I thought it was great. It's certainly in my top 3 episodes of Red Dwarf. I know I spoiled a few jokes. Apologies. I didn't realise they were in this episode. This episode, the one where they go into the Hollow game and become cowboys, and the Raxdroid episode are my top 3 episodes. But I think you need to watch the first 2 seasons just to get the feel for everyone's character. I know a lot of people rag on season 1 because Crichton's not there, but I do think it's a pretty good series on its own. It's just a different feel.
Yeah, for a lot of season 1 of Final Space, it feels a lot like season 1 of Red Dwarf.
But yeah, let's do our wind down, Rick. First things first, do you have a favourite moment?
My favourite moment is when Crichton called himself Herman Munster's stunt double. Saying, what was it, something like, if I could choose how I looked, do you think I'd choose to look like Herman Munster's stunt double? That was the gag that made me giggle the most, I think.
It was just because I look like Herman Munster's stunt double does not mean I don't know art, or something to that effect.
Yes. How about you? What was your favourite moment?
I'm very torn. I'm going to cheat and say 2. I apologise. I know I usually poo-poo the idea. The first one is the joke I spoilt with, are you absolutely sure, sir, that will require changing the bulb?
Yep.
And the other one was Legion just going, well, not really. I needed to turn the lights on and off.
Ah, yes, the light switch.
But yeah, great gags. Unfortunately, we can't only talk about the good, we have to talk about the bad a little bit. So to that end, Rick, do you have a weakest link?
It's more of a meta weakest link, and it's the fact that because we were reacting, we missed some of the gags, or at least I missed some of the gags. So I'm going to have to give this another watch. So in terms of weakest links, it's one of the better ones to have. How about you? What was your weakest link?
I struggle to find a weakest link. I think, honestly, it's going to be another meta one, and that is, if you want to appreciate this episode fully, I think you need more context than none. Like, I think I did a good job of providing the context at the beginning by saying, hey, this entire series, they're stuck in Starbug because Red Dwarf fucked off. They're chasing Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
But they also explain that at the beginning of the episode. It's one of those where I think you could see a lot more of the jokes coming if you know the crew's personality before going in.
Sure. And also, I suppose that Starbug has a much smaller variety of sets that they can use.
Oh, they got like 2 rooms.
It makes it a lot easier on the production staff, so they can focus any actual CGI that they need to do. Like we saw a bit of it. They erected the shield around Starbug and then drew him into Legion's space installation.
Yeah. Man, speaking of effects, I'm going to assume that the dude who played Legion had a green suit on his face, and they just computed the sections in.
Yeah.
Anything pre-Star Wars Episode 1, I'm always interested in how they did the effects, because most of it is like they had to bullshit it. But yeah, last but not least, Rick, do you have an MVP?
I'm going to give it to Crichton. He did the most to solve the problem of, getting away from Legion. And also, he's the one that I think had got the funniest lines, partly by merit of being the straight man in almost every way.
Yeah. It's in a show where you've got 4 fucking funny people and one person has to be the straight man. It's grand that the straight man still has their own jokes.
Yes, because he's both chipper and like slightly deadpan. Like the delivery, the lines that he's giving are normally deadpan, but he gives it in such a chipper way that it's very entertaining. I'd say it's probably quite unique in terms of comedy characters.
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, how about you? Who was your MVP?
I'm going to give it to Legion, because without Legion, this episode wouldn't exist. And my God, looking back at it now with a slightly older perspective, it's like there's some real philosophical conundrums presented in this episode. It's played for laughs, but you could really spend some time dissecting and thinking about the scenarios that crop up in this episode in particular.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you can make into like a D&D one-shot if you knew what your other guys' characters were doing perfectly,
Yeah, it would be a bit of a problem. Your improvisation would have to be fucking top-notch.
Yaha.
But even then, Legion didn't actually show other characters' personalities until he took over one entirely.
Yes.
Like, even when he greeted everyone, he greeted them sort of in his old persona of, I'm intelligent, artistic, well-spoken, which none of the Red Dwarf crew are.
No, and like even when he was losing personalities, he still kind of kept his form. So like he didn't gravitate towards being only 3 of them or only 2 of them.
Honestly, I think near the end when he had his clear psychotic snapping point, where like he already clearly had some mental breakdown in the past because, you know, ceasing to exist and then popping back into existence, no one can possibly tell you how that would feel. But I got Am vibes from him, the Allied Master Computer from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Okay, yeah.
Because
feel that.
Yeah, he's broken. This creature is a broken creature. He doesn't want to go away, but at the same time, he's got all of this power without having it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like he piggybacks off anyone else that he's near, and he's trying to grasp onto as much as he can while there are, you know, living people here now. Rimmer and Crichton, being essentially immortal, could essentially keep him going more or less forever, whereas Lister and Cat would eventually just die.
Yeah, it's one of those, again, it's one of those unfortunate realities of it's a comedy show, so they're not going to dive too much into how the tech actually works, but I'm curious to see if his life has more, if he feels like he gets more from having more consciousness around him, because it's very unclear, isn't it? It's very odd. Like, there's no solution to his problem, and he can't go out and find a solution because he can't leave.
Yeah, he's bound to his station.
Like, oh man, it seems like a rather hellish existence.
Yeah, and if this was more of a, if this was like frickin' like Star Trek or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm thinking like if this was a more serious show like Star Trek, they probably wouldn't even have left him. They would probably have found a way to bring him with them, and then he would just become a Gestalt being of the whatever starship they have, whether it's the Enterprise or one of the littler ships like a Voyager or whatever, and using that to find information that the characters wouldn't normally share, like, oh, I did a murder.
I haven't watched much Star Trek, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was an episode of Star Trek like this. Hell, I wouldn't have been surprised if this episode is based off said episode.
Oh yeah. So a lot of comedy stuff is normally based on something that's happened before.
But yeah, I think that's it from us today. That was Red Dwarf Season 6, Episode 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week we'll be doing more of the Britcom month, but until then, we've got the comment section down below if you want to give us a message. Alternatively, if you're listening via one of our other platforms other than YouTube, you can send us an email. Where have they said send email to, Rick?
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yes. We hope you join us again for next week's Mystery Britcom episode. Do.
Ta-ra.